September 11, 2001, a tragedy unfolded as two planes struck the World Trade Center, collapsing both towers and claiming nearly 3,000 lives. A third plane crashed into the Pentagon, while courageous passengers on a fourth plane prevented further disaster. The aftermath sparked global military responses and heightened security measures, leaving a profound impact on the nation and the world in the pursuit of safety and justice. The September 11, 2001 incident, commonly known as 9/11, was a series of coordinated terrorist attacks carried out by the Islamist extremist group Al-Qaeda against the United States. Below are the key details. The attack on the World Trade Center, WTC. Time of attack. The attacks began at 8:46 a.m. Eastern Time. Method. 4 commercial airliners were hijacked by 19 terrorists. American Airlines Flight 11 was the first to be hijacked. It took off from Boston, Massachusetts, heading for Los Angeles, California, and was crashed into the North Tower, WTC-1, of the World Trade Center in New York City at 8:46 a.m. United Airlines Flight 175 was the second plane, also heading for Los Angeles, hijacked and crashed into the South Tower, WTC-2, at 9:03 a.m. Both towers were severely damaged by the crashes, resulting in massive fires. The structural damage combined with the fires led to the collapse of both towers. The South Tower collapsed at 9:59 a.m. The North Tower collapsed at 10:28 a.m. too. The attack on the Pentagon. Time of attack. At 9:37 a.m., a third plane, American Airlines Flight 77, which had taken off from Washington Dulles International Airport, was hijacked and crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, the headquarters of the U.S. Department of Defense. The impact caused a significant portion of the building to collapse, killing 125 people inside the Pentagon, along with all 64 passengers and crew on the plane. The fourth plane, United Airlines Flight 93. Time of attack. A fourth hijacked plane, United Airlines Flight 93, was also en route from Newark, New Jersey to San Francisco, California. The passengers on board learned of the other attacks and fought the hijackers for control of the plane. It crashed in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania, at 10:03 a.m. before it could reach its intended target, believed to be either the White House or the U.S. Capitol. All 44 people on board, including the hijackers, were killed, but the bravery of the passengers prevented further destruction and casualties. Total deaths. Nearly 3,000 people died in the attacks, including passengers on the planes, workers in the towers, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics. The victims came from over 90 countries, and many were civilians who had been in the World Trade Center or the Pentagon when the attacks occurred. The aftermath. Emergency response. First responders, including firefighters and police officers, rushed to the sites of the attacks. Many of them risked their lives, and hundreds lost their lives in the process of rescuing survivors and securing the area global response. The attacks prompted the U.S. to initiate the War on Terror, leading to military action in Afghanistan to dismantle Al-Qaeda and remove the Taliban government, which had harbored Osama bin Laden, the mastermind behind the attack's security measures. Domestically, the U.S. significantly increased security at airports and in public spaces. The Department of Homeland Security, DHS, was created to enhance national security and prevent future terrorist attacks. The perpetrators. The attacks were masterminded by Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, a terrorist organization. Bin Laden and several members of Al-Qaeda had planned the attacks for years, using hijacked planes as weapons to strike key targets in the U.S. Al-Qaeda's motive. The group viewed the U.S. as an enemy due to its military presence in the Middle East and its support for Israel, among other grievances. The attacks were a way to challenge U.S. power and provoke global attention to their cause. Long-term effects. Increased security. The U.S. and other countries around the world implemented stricter security measures, including more stringent airport screening procedures and intelligence sharing between nations. Global War on Terror. The U.S. launched military operations in Afghanistan, overthrowing the Taliban and initiating a prolonged conflict in the region. The war in Iraq, although not directly linked to 9/11, was also part of the broader War on Terror, Patriot Act. In response to the attacks, the U.S. Congress passed the USA Patriot Act, which gave the government greater powers for surveillance and security operations, raising concerns about privacy and civil liberties, legacy and remembrance. The events of 9/11 are commemorated every year in the U.S. and around the world, honoring the victims and heroes of that day.